Earnings though, the company on our radar is Akzo Nobel. They've seen a revenue growth of 5% year on year, which is among the highest ones that we've seen in the industry so far, the second highest from the numbers that have been reported so far. Rajiv Rajgopal, who's the chairman and managing director of the company, joins in now. Rajiv, I wonder if people are looking at your numbers every quarter anymore or not, because yes, the numbers are good. You've been gaining market share for the last 10, 12 quarters. But everyone's wondering what's happening with the deal. How far are you away? Because I remember the last time you joined in, you said we're very close to the deal with the parent when it comes to, the B2B business, the R&D center, the industrial products business. Where are you? At what stage of, deal making are you when it comes to the decorative business?
Mangalam, good morning. Good morning to both you and Nigel. Thank you for having me on your show. Wonderful to be back. I perhaps do not have the same luxury that a lot of people have of not looking at numbers. That's the nature of my role, and my team are doing an incredible job, as you would agree, in an environment which is both hyper competitive, and the fact that there is an overhang of a strategic review, the fact that we've come with another quarter of industry leading growth is a testimony to the fact that we are very focused, like a horse with blinkers, really focusing on what the goals that we are targeting. And I think that's the way it should be. We are really focusing on our execution. The industry has gone through a tepid, quarter and a year that just got done. And I'm surprised to say in the quarter, and if you look at the full year, we've had industry leading growth. Yeah? So I think that's the first. The second, and I'll come back to your second part of the question. I think the good part is in decorative, we've started seeing a good bounce back. At least for us, the growth has come back in urban towns and in the premium segments, which is a little away from some of the other players. We've had some challenges in the mass and economy, where the real battle is happening in the market, with deep discounting, pricing, which is significantly below where we operate. And hence, we chose a little bit of a step back in the last quarter, particularly in our mass markets and categories like putty, texture, etc. For a simple reason that we said, look, the industry is going through a quarter closer. There's no point of trying to exaggerate some of these discounts, and we said we just be normal, and we are sure that April will bounce back, and that's what's happened. Yeah. So really, from my perspective, pretty happy with what's happening there. Yes, I'm not happy with the fact that we still want to really win in the market, in each of our business. On coatings, we've had double-digit growths, and it's
right. Rajiv, you still haven't answered the second part of the question.
Rajiv, you're talking about a horse with blinkers, but the street believes it's a bride looking for a prospective match. So we want an update on that front.
Nigel, whichever way you look at it, at the end of the day, the bride is more attractive when the performances are stronger. So, let me keep it at that. But coming to the second part of the question that Nigel asked, look, I think our global CEO Greg has already mentioned in the global analyst call in the last quarter in April that this transaction should see certainty in terms of how Akzo Nobel NV decides to proceed by the end of the quarter. And I stick to the same timeline. I'd said it. I'd mentioned a timeline of the end of third and fourth week of June. I think we're pretty much on it. Now, if it happens a little earlier, closer, it's a function, because these deals are quite exhaustive in nature. It's not just a simple thing like valuation. A lot of detailing. It's a massive organization. So I think those things will need to be looked at. It's being handled by the parent. So I think as soon as I get an update which is material, as of now I have none, I will be able to comment on that.
The large players that there were, a lot of them who looked at it, and we've been speaking to a lot of them here as well, barring one or two, not many have pursued with their bid for Akzo Nobel. I remember, some backing out because of maybe competition issues, the Competition Commission issues, some backing out because of valuations, some saying that they tried, but the other bids were a lot more aggressive, and they don't see value in, Akzo Nobel at the market cap that it is right now. What do you have to say to that? Because, if there aren't many takers, barring one or two, then the end result may not perhaps be beneficial to the shareholders.
Look, I would only say a couple of things. First and foremost, look, these are personal choices, strategic choices companies make, right? And if people or bidders have decided not to proceed, I'm sure it's not just valuation. There are other influencing factors which may be specific to the company. But, as I always say, it's, this is a business which has demonstrated performance, not in this quarter. Over the last 4-5 years, we've been gaining market share with all the challenges that we've had. And really, from my perspective, I think the business to the final buyer is worth its weight in gold. Yeah. So that's what I would like to say. I've seen the profile of the business. I've run it now for, I've been running this business for as a managing director and now as chairman and managing director for last 2 years, but overall for about 6.5 years. And you've seen the performance. It's a solid business. These are premium brands. I think this is something which is truly a generational asset. And I think finally, I think whoever's the winner will take it all, and you will see. I do think that the final buyer, whoever is the winner of the race, you would see a distinct performance shift, uplift in the performance. And mark my words. You take it once the whole thing is done. We will discuss maybe 5-6 quarters, and maybe with the buyer, etc. You would see a shift in the way this industry moves, and you will see the brands. These are terrific brands. I mean, having a brand like Dulux, and International, etc., are phenomenal in the portfolio. So, again, these are strategic choices company have to make. So I cannot comment on that, Nigel.
All right, Rajiv. We'll wait by to see, who comes out trumps in this. But, since your focus is on business, give us a few numbers. What kind of volume growth do you target for this year? What is the outlook in terms of margins? And since you mentioned market share a few times, what is the targeted market share? I think in the last year, as you said, you gained some. Where is it at? Where is it headed?
Yeah. So first and foremost, let me start from the reverse order. Market share, we've inched back from about 4.2 to about 5. We are now tracking, and this is decorative. If you look at overall, we are at about 7.4. I think we are trying to target to increase it at least meaningfully, and to at least about closer to 8 in the next year or so. Second, in terms of volume growth, look, in the last quarter, unlike the rest of the industry, we started bringing volume and value closer because we've had a limited play in some of the economy and mass, and we are obviously not getting out of it, but we wanted to make sure that we are doing it in a profitable manner. Yeah. So, however, from a full year, guidance perspective, I still maintain that the industry, I believe that we should now get back to a mid-single digit, high single digit growth for the year, for the full year in terms of value. Volume will be a little ahead of value by the end of the year.
And I also hope that, the negotiations that take place with the deal have you as an important part of that, in the sense that you will lead the company no matter who owns it, and perhaps get some more of the others when they come into your fold too. Is that a possibility?
Mangalam, I don't think I would be in a position to comment on all that, but that's a decision that the buyer has to take, and obviously, So I think for the moment I'm very much running the ship, and the team is really focused, and our performance is what it is. And what we can assure through you to all our shareholders is we are not going to leave an inch for anybody to take. We are going to grab every inch that comes our way.
All right, we take that point. Thank you so much for joining in and giving us the details on the business performance and the updates that are happening outside of business as well. We hope to get an update soon from you itself.